Welcome everybody to another exciting, thrilling chapter of Isabella's diary. Yes, Isabella's diary. A Greek mythology is going to be narrated by me, Rashid, and my sidekick here. Sit back, relax, and let's enter the world of Isabella. Hope you guys in a mood for some Greek mythology. Or is it Sidician mythology? Either what be, it is time for some mythology. I really get a kick out of doing this, guys. I really do. Tell me I'm not intelligent. And I'll say you are a lie. And I'll tell you why. Because while others struggle on social media to find something to talk about, I have we have backup around here, like Isabella's diary, which is no big deal. It's just we take our time on it and kick it around like a soccer ball and entertain ourselves with some good storytelling. Of course, I created this, so please don't go looking for it someplace else because you're not going to find it. Just get that off the back, right off the back there. Instead of coming on the air and just picking anything to talk about or anything to discuss, we have things like this, shows like Isabella's Diary that keep us occupied until RVT comes up with a show. Until RVT comes up with a show, we'll still be dipping into things like this as well as picture-ups. So sit back, relax, and let's get into some Isabelle's Diary. This is chapter. I know we had one before that, but that was 0. See, the correct. Let me educate here. Let me educate. The correct way of spelling is 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You say 0 first. You see, that's the correct way. 0. You say 0. The first one was 0, which I'm not. That was just like an overview or introduction of who Isabella was, and Gina. I would say Angelina. I think it's Angina. Isabella and Takaya, the fairy. If you don't understand it, I apologize, but just if you wish, that's what I'm saying, because this is for our group. This is one of our group things that we do on social media. It's not for everybody. I just want to clarify that it's not for everybody. So if you don't understand it, then I apologize, and maybe another RVT show can suit something that you're familiar with. But this is Rashid's creation, so you may find it hard and difficult to understand. But I'll do the best I can. And if I can't, then I apologize, and you can come back by when we have something else. Nonetheless, we start off Isabelle's Diary. What's this really what you say? Well, primarily because she said y'all might want to know why Greek mythology. We have around here a lot of Greek mythological, if that's how you say it, but we have a lot of Greek mythology stories around here. We have Rashid the Mystic Sorcerer, right? And we have a couple other things I don't recall right off of my. I know Rashid the Mystical Sorcerer is one of them. Okay. Dragonfly is kind of like that, but not really. Even though he comes from the Dark Ages, Rashid comes from the Dark Ages and all. But I guess it's kind of like that. I don't know if you want to classify it like that. Greenwood is kind of questionable. That will be coming out soon. I don't think that's mythology, but yeah, it has the attributes like fairies and stuff like that, and those centaurs and stuff. So it's just I'm just so I feel so good right now to be able to just talk about Isabelle's diary, Isabella, on this RVT, because it's been a while. It's been a long while actually. Yeah, so we're going to begin with chapter 1. Isabelle Standing Strong is the name of this. Isabelle Standing Strong. Now, I might have to take notes while I'm doing this, so we'll see. So, here we go. I start off with a poem to Isabelle, and she should be in the waterfall. Should be appearing soon. Her in the waterfall, which is my daughter. I'll go through all of the aspects of who they are as we go on. Or is this episode? Well, definitely episode. In fact, I'm gonna change it right now. Hold on for a minute. Okay, this is what happened. I had some Isabelle up on YouTube, but when Google Plus shut down, I took down some videos, and I think I mistakenly took hers down. So I don't think there's any Isabelle up on my YouTube. So we kind of have to start over again. But some Sadiqs out there might have downloaded that first one we did. So I'm just telling you this to don't pay it no attention. That that was 0 and this is chapter 1. As we're gonna head on from this one on up. You have to do that if your computer crash and you lose information and all. You have to do that. It's important that you do that. So anyway. Well, it's important because you want to keep track of everything. Not everything is not guaranteed to stay there, even though you have it downloaded or what have you. It's not guaranteed to stay. Anything can happen, and you might lose it. So you might have to reconstruct the order in order to keep things in place. After all, it's just a chapter. Even though some events come before others, it's still a chapter. It's just one story if you just follow it through. Chapters just know your position inside the story. That's what they're for. For you to start off, to give you that fresh feeling when starting off a new chapter in a novel or so forth in literature. Give you a fresh feeling and a fresh start. Just like a new paragraph. So it's important that way, sweetie. Now, Isabella, I start off with a poem to my daughter. Isabelle's Diary Poem. And the name of this chapter is Isabel Standing Strong. The breath of Isabella, mighty as the wind blows, and blows it shall, strong as the wind blows, and blows it shall. The sea speaks of impeccable mightiness, and along with the wind, its purposes are revealed. So is yours, Isabella. Because just as the wind and the sea stands, so your beauty forever and ever. Beautiful Isabella she is, as y'all seeing on the screen. Overview, which I'm probably going to be doing this, so we'll get familiar with where we stand at with this text here. The ancient Greeks, who became the first Western civilization about 2000 BC, the 20th century BC. The ancient texts we call Greek myths are mostly from the period known as Classical Greece, circa 500 BCE. The earliest known versions of Greek stories date back more than 2,700 years, written from Greek poets. Some were written earlier. Greek mythology came to an end in the 19th century when the last pagans were converted. Cities of early Greece: Sparta, Athens, Corinth, which was the richest commercial city of ancient Greece. Who was the Greek gods of creation? In the beginning there was only chaos, an empty void, but somehow this enormous vacancy gave birth to Gaia, the earth, to Tartarus, the great rain beneath the earth, and to Eros, the shining god of love and attraction. Chaos also bore Erebus, the darkness of the netherworld, and night, the darkness over the earth. Isabella knew that there was another world that awaits her outside of this one. She knew that. Our hidden fair maiden was well aware of that. Trying to see what else summary we can throw in here. Isabella is from the city of Eretria in the country of Hellas, Greece. The well-known river is the Exus River of Eretria, the river of the forgotten, which is not far from Angina's house. In fact, she's right outside the door from it, from what we understand. They all follow Demeter. Demeter is one of the largest and oldest goddesses of the ancient Greek pantheon, sister of Poseidon, which is real. You guys can look that up. That's real. They follow Demeter. Known as the goddess of harvest, fertility, agriculture, and vegetation, soil, protector of the land and its produce, mother of cereals, hence her name. and mainly wheat. Demeter as goddess differed significantly. Demeter as goddess differed significantly from the other goddess. Smart and attractive. Had renounced from the beginning. She never lived on Mount Olympus, but to the temples, especially dedicated to how close to those who believe and worship her. That's where they go to, because that's in the city of Eritrea where Isabella is. So she goes there with her friends, especially Angina. And of course, get tongue tied with the words here. Oh gosh, let me see here for 1 minute. It slipped my mind that quick. Let me see. This is freaking with Egypt. Let me see here. Okay. Oh, shit. Let me see. Just give me a few seconds here. Okay, this one. Takaya. Right on the tip of my tongue, and I couldn't even pronounce it. Takaya. She goes to the Demeter statue with Takaya and Gina. And she never lived on Mount Olympus. Mount Olympus is where all the goddesses gathered. She never was there. Rashi is her father. Takai is her best friend. Her mother is Isis. Not the ISIS that y'all know about. Yeah, that's important to bring that out, because right away they'll start thinking it's the ISIS, especially on that show, Almighty ISIS. Well, not that ISIS, but her mother's name is Isis, and she has two younger sisters. Their names are Pandora. One sister name is Pandora, and the other one is Paline. That's spelled Paline. Give us the information about the two sisters. Isabelle's two sisters frequently visits Egyptian art festivities that went on in the lower Nile Valley from about 3000 BC AD. It was the Egyptian figure convention. These cave paintings, which I guess they were what do you call them? Hieroglyphics. I guess they were them. I created this and I can't even remember what it. Hieroglyphics. It was the Egyptian figure convention. These cave paintings, which are hieroglyphics, are also known as parietal art. Parietal art. Parietal art. Okay. And as y'all know, who was following Isabelle's diary, um, Isabella plays the harp. The harp is a string musical instrument that has a number of individual strings running at an angle to its soundboard. The strings are plucked with the fingers. Harps have also been known since antiquity in Asia, Africa, and Europe, dating back at least as early as 3500 BC. The smaller harps are played on the lap. And they like to eat figs. Y'all know what figs? You ever eat fig Newtons? Well, those are real fruit from trees. At least we call them fruit. The Ficus corica is an Asian species of flowering plant in the mulberry family. Okay, stop right there. Now wait a minute, sweetie. Now look, read this. The Asian species of flowering plant in the mulberry family. So it's like a flower. It's like it's kind of like cotton, I guess. But can you classify that as a fruit? I still think so, because when you go and get fig Newtons, they classify the package as being fruit fig Newtons. So known as the common fig, or just a fig, it is the source of the fruit. See, also called the fig. So yeah. Native to the Middle East and Western Asia, it has been sought out and cultivated since ancient times, and is now widely grown throughout the world, both for its fruit and as an ornamental plant. Rashid, her father and mother, Isis, is divorced, but they live in different houses due to Rashid's job, which is my job. He's a voyager traveler for the sake of justice for the people. Living where he lives is easier to Richport and beyond, but visits Isis, which is my wife that I'm separated from, and Isabella, along with two sisters, children Pandora and Palai. She, Isabella, secretly plans to move with Rashid, her father, because this will give her enough freedom to venture out into the world. And her best friend Angina plans to leave with her, to go with her, along with the Kaya, of course, Turn the page here, because this is a book that I made. Okay, let's see. They call her a red-headed hoyden. That's like a slang for red-headed people. That's I got a song for without words, but I don't think that applies. I think it was about to write something there, but they call it a hoyden. So they call them red-headed hoytens. That's what you call redheads back in these days, right here in ancient times. Her role model is teacher Isabella. She's a teacher to the children of Eritrea, and that's the black girl, the black woman. Well, she's a brown woman with the white hair. So she's a teacher for the children in the city of Eritrea, of course, where Isabella and Gina dwell at. And they fear the ice beast, kind of like the Kraken for Clash of the Titans. The ice beast is a really huge beast that people fear. I don't know if they ever saw them or not. We'll find out now. Thus begins our story. Sit back, relax, and let's start this. Where we left off at, well, they got home from being, they was walking into a house, Isabella's house. And it was Isabella and Gina and Takaya. Takaya nobody really see because she's so small. She's a fairy. They was walking back in the house of being down to the broken down temples of the city. That's where kids play at. Hannah was a nasty village girl. She was a little girl, but she was very demanding, shall I say. She was very demanding. She had a big mouth. She was kind of like Margaret on Dennis the Menace. Very irritating. So she caught him coming back from playing around down there. First thing she said, I'm a tail, like towel. She said, I'm a tail. Isabella said, what for? I don't understand. What for? What you gonna tell for? And Gina ain't paying no attention. And Gina was just looking at her as usual. And Takaya the fairy wasn't paying her no attention as usual. She said, I'm gonna tell y'all what's down there at the catacombs. The Mr. Catacombs. Then Angina said, you speak of a foolish one. You speak of the foolish one. Isabella said, we was not lay flat foot on thy surface. We did not go amongst the catacombs. What gives you that impression? She said, because that's where all the kids go. Now this is the loudmouth girl. She said, that's because that's where all the kids go. She said, just for your information, yeah, she said, just for your information, we was down there at the broken temples of Eritrea. We wasn't at the mystic catacombs. That's a picture of the mystic catacombs. Now this is why they were so inanimate. They were so inanimate in expressing why they was, because anybody that go down there, there's rumors that they never came back. There's rumors that they never ever came back to these mystic catacombs. There haunts the mystic catacombs is little girl spirits. Because during the invasion, the tyrants, the barbarians of that time, brought the kids there and slaughtered them, the girls there, and they kept all the firstborn males, because they was kingship to the heir of the throne. So basically the girls were slaughtered there. It's rumored that their spirits lurk there. And Gina has a certain ability. And of course this is Isabella's friend. She has a certain ability where she can control people's thinking, and she sends people down there. She sent people down there, and he never heard of again. But this is a secret. She don't tell nobody. Isabelle got suspicion of it, but she never approaches her friend about it. She sent him down there, and he never heard of again. So you see some skeleton corpse down there of people long ago. Spirits of little girls haunt that area down there. Very creepy. It's a place you don't want to be at night. And you can see that you can run all through there. Some kids try to go down there and they play in there anyway. So it's one of those areas like when you're little you hear stories about this or that, or back in my day it was a green woman in the forest in a park. Because don't go down the mystic catacombs, because some people never come back. Isabella said I wasn't down there. For your information, we was at the ruins of Eritrea, which is old temples that long is forgotten. She said even in bravery, Isabella said even if we decided to go down there to meet her, our goddess will watch us. And this shut Hannah right up. They shut Hannah right up. Hannah turned away and walked away and said, and stuck her nose up in there and walked away. You know how little girls do. She stuck her nose up and walked away. Isabella and Gina kept on walking into the house. They get in the house and Isis is cooking some stew. She says, take off your garments, take off your shoes because they're moist with sand and dirt, and I don't want you tracking it in the house. I got some fresh baked bread right here because I know your father coming over, and he always come over around this time. Okay. Then her mother gave ear and said, y'all got back kind of quick than where y'all was. Usually you stay out and do this and you'll be going here and doing this and this. Well, why are you coming back so quickly? She said, I don't know. Isabella said, I don't know. I don't find much to do out there the way I used to. So right away her mother started thinking, okay, she's getting older now. But it's just a pipe thinking. She's not going to dwell into it because nobody wants their kids to get older. But the way she answered her was a sort of a way of being mature. Not like the little girl she used to be. I don't find it much to do out there anymore. When she was younger, it was much to do. I'm talking running, jumping, hunting. Learning from Rashid, her father, who taught her how to hunt and jump along the sprays of buildings without any fear at all. In some cases, while people looked on. Give an ear to Angina. Keep an eye on Angina because, like I said, Angina can float in a way. She has these mystic abilities that for her part, she don't know where they came from. She just deal with them. Some people, some children, shall I say, back then, possess strange abilities that they never question. Angina is one. Being Isabel's friend, Isabelle know about him, but they both don't ever question it. And being her friend, she trusts Isabella not to harp on her too much, to make her feel normal, like her. But little does Isabella know that herself is not normal. Because we'll find out why later on. Takaya the fairy see things coming. She said your father is walking up the way. And he has the donkey strapped with more grain and more grain. Bosporus. Bosporus is Rashid's friend. Living not too far from the house, he stops Rashid along the way and says, "Hey!" Rashid looks at Bosporus. I say, "What is it, Bo?" He called him Bo. So what is it, Bo? He said, we started a question about the goddess that your household serves. For she is blessing you with so much grain, which we discussed in the last story. The Isabelle could just walk out and go right beside the donkeys outside her house, which carry the loaves for the people that they sell, and just grab some grain from the tips of wheat germ and eat it in her hand. And it tastes like oatmeal, dry oatmeal. But it's very delicious to eat. If y'all ever put some oatmeal in your hand and just eat it, it's very delicious, not bad. Said this Demeter, I'm talking about Demeter. Now this is both said, Bosporus. He said, Rashid, this Demeter, goddess of yours, she must be real because you have enough plantation to feed the whole village, being wealthy, from it. Rashid said, Demeter has been kind to us, and she will continue to guide my feet in the right direction to provide for my family, as well as my neighboring associates that I work for, that we slave for, and maybe one day for the king himself. Bosporus says, I shall hope so. Well, should you come down to the tavern to drink some ale with us, perhaps? Surely you must be thirsty. Rashid says, don't be fleet of foot. Stay right there. I shall join you. So Rashid comes inside. He grabs Isabella, kiss her, of course. She says, oh, Father, you're home, such and forth. And he treats Angina just as his own daughter. Grabs her, kiss her. Hey, Angina, nice to see you too. Rosy red cheeks and all. It's a very fine time to come home and see young, tidy maidens. Hair was smelling so fresh. Their mom, the mother, Isis, started laughing and said, how can it be so? When she was out there playing. Which is another mystery of Isabella. She always smells fresh. So as you see, Isabella got a lot of things going on with her that her mother don't understand, her father don't understand. Well, in some cases, even Angina don't understand. Don't even know if they talk about it. Kind of suspicious to me. Kind of. I know Takaya is nearby. He even knows Takaya. Her father even knows Takaya. I know Takaya is nearby. Because when I'm at work, she come and pester me sometime when you get out of line. When Isabel get out of line. So, what's for dinner? Or shall I say, what's for meal? She said, I'm baking fresh bread. And the butter is not corn the way it was. So it's rich. So Rashid smiles and says, I should take 3, maybe 4. Then she said, please tell me you're not off to the village tavern. Then Rashid said, how do you know I was going to the village tavern? She said, because I know. I know. And then from there, Rashid said, I should go home. If you wish to see me, she said, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Here's your bread. Here's your bread. Before Rashid left, he said bye to Isabella, bye to Angina. Then he carried on his way. Now it's 2 guys standing there. It's Bosporus, and there's another fair lad. There's another bloke. Another bloke is standing there with Bosporus. So all 3 of them talking loud, walking. Rashid talking with these 3. and walking down to the tavern. Now it's time to drink. He gave his friends some of the biscuits, some of the bread. And as Isis see them take off, she's wondering in her head about her husband Rashid. She wondering, she's just thinking as she watching him walk away with his companions there. She's just thinking in her head. We don't know what she's thinking, but you can see in her eyes of curiosity or something like, we're getting blessed with this. I'm just guessing. We're getting blessed with this food. We're getting blessed with the harvest that Demeter is blessing us with, granting us with. Are you not telling me something about the fishing that you do? Demeter is the sister of Poseidon. Poseidon is the god of the sea. He grants fish of the ocean, you say. So if Rashid getting fish from Poseidon, who's being blessed by him, is he not telling his wife? That means extra money that Rashid has. That can. That's what I'm saying, sweetie. That can be one. Knowing women and know I went right there. You go see what you want, but woman is a woman. I don't care. Woman is a woman. That's she probably thinking that because Poseidon is blessing you on the side with, fish. And you're not telling me about it. I know about the grain from Demeter. But what about Poseidon? Because you fish also. We got the grain part. What about Poseidon? She could be thinking that. While she's looking, Isabella and Gina don't see nothing. They just know that she's looking. They just know that she's looking at Rashid walk away with Bosporus. Not saying nothing. Rashid already saw the stew. Of course he wasn't under that. And the stew was of lavering taste. It's like beef stew. It's like beef stew with broccoli. But instead of the beef, it's more of a head of lamb. Chunks of soft lamb, buttered with broccoli, carrots, onions, potatoes, with a thick sauce, gravy-ish, rich, very delicious. Her mother, Isis, makes a great stew. Believe that. Fresh baked bread. How can you go wrong with a dinner like that? So after dinner, Angina stays over Isabella's house. She stays over. Angina's story is kind of sad. She lives by herself. Back in these days, y'all may find it hard to believe, but the average woman was 11 years old, 12 years old. So you may find them owning own houses for themselves. Just like the Amazonians in the Amazon forest today, in the woods today, they're women, of what we saw the other day, of a documentary we saw. Their women reach of age of 10 years old, about 10 years old. So it's no wonder why Angina had a whole house to herself that was left for her by her grandmother, which passed on. Or at least that's what they told her. She came home and she was gone. Everybody feared Angina. Everybody feared her because she has this strange ability. You see, she has a strange ability that she refuses to fess up to. She just refused to fess up to it. So Angina finds herself by herself in her house a lot. So her and Isabelle is almost impossible to see one without the other. So as they lay in bed sleeping, not sleeping, but getting ready, but laying in bed. You know, girls lay in bed and they talk amongst themselves. Isabella turns over to Angina and asks her a question. Question of curiosity. A question of seeing how brave herself is. In other words, it's kind of hard to put into words, but here's the question. She said to Angina, what of this ice beast that everybody speaks about? And you may wonder, why would Isabella be talking about an ice beast? Angina turns over to Isabella and says, Isabella, don't look up into the sky. Here we lay here, and every time you gaze up into the sky until you fall asleep, you think of yourself as a heroine, somebody strong for the people and so forth. So why do you do such things? There is no ice beast. Then Isabella says, from what I gather, it is an ice beast that people believe in and they are afraid of it. But what if we ran into it one day the way we venture out? And Gina's saying laughingly, then we die. We will be surely ripped to shreds. From what I understand, 100 men, 1,000 men, 1,000,000 men cannot conquer it. So how can we get away from such atrocity if it enters our path? In other words, how can we escape such atrocity? Isabel said, I don't know, but it feels like I can do it. And Gina bust out laughing with a ferocious laugh. She busts out, and she laughs so hard that it shakes up Takaya, which is not laughing. And she goes and sits by Isabella's side, her waist, while she's in bed, saying it's a possibility. Takaya can't talk, so she's flickering like it's a possibility. Then Angina says, "Look at Takaya. Even she's saying it's a possibility. Isabella, you cannot beat the ice beast. Get such nonsense out of your head." Isabella says, "It's not nonsense. Why would I think about this if it wasn't true? If it wasn't true and I can't beat this ice beast, then why is the thought into my head? Why is it there?" She said, "Because you're looking up at the stars, and every time you gaze up at the stars, you think these things. Surely the gods must not be putting them in your head." She said, "Maybe it's not the gods, maybe it's Demeter. After all, she is blessing us with vegetation and so forth, and grain." She said, "Isabella, there's no way you can beat the ice beast. But if you want me to say you can beat the ice beast, then so be it. You can beat the ice beast. There, I said it." Then she said, "There, I said it. And in fact, I'll help you out to beat the ice beast." And then she started laughing and pointing at Takaya, the fairy, saying she will too. Then Isabella started laughing and said, "You joke. But I swear to you, I feel like I can overcome this ice beast if it does exist." She said, "May it come soon, Isabella. May it come soon." The next morning was unlike any other morning, primarily because it was a partly sunny day. The sun gave way, then the sun didn't give way. The sun gave way, then the sun didn't give way. The birds was agitated more than usual, as some of the old women in the village come out and feed the birds. They get great delight in seeing the birds fight over crumbs of bread that has been sitting out for days at a time. The men opening up shops, their backs too stiff to stand up straight, But yet and still they carry on because it's the only means of providing for their families. Getting fresh water out the a fountain. Some even assist. They take the fruit down to the river of the Mystic Cat. No, not the Mystic. No, that's disgusting. The Mystic Cat. But they take it down to the. I'll tell you in a second here. I'm not gonna hear somewhere. Wait 1 second. When you write stuff, sometimes you forget. Just give me a few minutes here. They take it down to the access river of Eritrea. Yeah, it's on page 3 of this book. Take it down to the river of Eritrea. The river of the forgotten is not a clean river. In fact, they throw corpses there sometimes. Not just any human corpse, but animals, like the fish tails, the fish heads, and stuff like that. It's not a very fresh river. So it's said that some of the locals take their produce down there and wash their fruits or vegetables off. They can't use it in the water they use, the fountains they use, because then those fountains will become toxic. And these people need that for drinking and so forth like that. So everybody go down to the river of Eritrea and take care of things like that, which is right outside of Angina's house. Just a couple steps away from Angina's house. Sometimes it's really musty and smelly, and sometimes it's clean. And this is why Angina don't like to go home, because she's not in a position of, she's not in the best position to go home and just hang out, as it were. Isabella wakes up and takes a shower as usual inside of the golden gates where she lives at, under the waterfall. Water drips off her freckled skin, rolls off her red hair as if dewdrops are just dripping off of a plant during a cloudy day of mystic rain. Water drips off her eyelids. She saturates her whole body, and getting pure for the day's activity. And Angina, she does the same. Not far from her. And so does Takaya, which Takaya, in a case, she's a fairy. She's just emulating them because she really doesn't have to. She have mist to keep her pure, as amongst other fairies and pixies. As they head out, Mother say, don't forget some farina before you head out into your day's activities. This is a school day. And they're waiting to meet Isabella, which is the teacher, who drives them both to school. Isabella is a really dear friend to the family. Very dear friend to the family. In fact, her and Isis are like sisters almost. They tell each other almost anything. And here it is, Isabel's teacher, for Christ's sake. I guess that's kind of on the upside. You can't lose with a friend like that. But needless to say, they grab some farina, which is cream of wheat in our term, and gobbles it up. In 20 minutes, 15 minutes tops. So by the time the gossiping stops in the next room where Isabella and Isis is talking at, all four head out, down, to the donkey cart. Isabella, says Isabella. Isabella said, yes. Yes, Miss Isabella. Have you studied the protocol which I gave you? She said, right away I did. Yes, I did. Without hesitation, I did. You didn't spend much time there at the reckonings, I suppose, of Retria. She says, no. Yes, I was down there, but I didn't spend that much time. I was studying. Just like my father once did. She says, you always say your father, but I'm talking about you. Don't study because your father did it. Study because you want to do it. She said nothing at that time. Then she said, Angina. Angina said, yes, Miss Isabella. She said, she asks her, more than saying, she asks, does she, Isabella, play her harp yesterday? She said, I think so. Supposedly, then she caught up. She caught her tongue, and right away Isabella started laughing. She said, she said, you're so quick to play an instrument, but not the studies of the protocol unit. She said, I will. She said, okay, because I'm going to ask you questions once we get to class, and you will get no special privileges. She says all of this as the cobblestone streets woggle the wooden wheels off of that old carriage as they march down from house to house, store to store, down to the school building. And right behind it is rich mountains, far as the eye can see. Evergreens and evergreens of daisies, flowers, and even have a couple of peach trees, rich peach trees next to spring water that drips down to the mountains. And in those very fields is where the kids go out and play for recess. Games that Isabella give them, frisbonic. In our day they would be frisbees, but in their day it was boomerangs. Yes, they used to play them or roll the wheel with a stick on those cobblestone rolls. Well, these are little rolls or little pebbles on them. Dismissing the cobblestone because they had to turn off because that's where the school was. Nice area for children to be learning in. Nice school. So before almost entering the school, Isabella hesitantly asks Isabella about her father. She asks, Isabella, how was your father, Rashid? She said, oh, fine. He was just over yesterday, and him and Mr. Barsparas, him and Mr. Barsparas and another chap went down to the pub. That's the last time I saw him, around supper. She said, when you see him, tell him I said hello. She said, okay. They thought nothing of it. But all the time, the fairy was laughing. She was giggling when she asked about Rashid. She was giggling. because the fairy knows she likes Rashid, but Rashid have no interest. I'm no interest. I have interest in taking care of Isabella, my daughter, and the two siblings, which are very quiet. Usually they make a lot of noise, but lately they've been quiet. I'm headstrong, family oriented. Don't got time for playing games like that. And Takaya was giggling. Isabella says nothing, I guess, because she don't see Takaya. But Takaya is very, because she's a fairy, she's very nosy. Particularly when it comes to relationships and falling in love and all of that shit like that. But can you blame her? A lot of fairies are keen eye on that stuff. That's why Disney's Peter Pan, Tinkerbell was jealous over Wendy. Well, that's the way fairies act. So they always their relationship shit. They always got something to say about it. I suppose anyway. Once in school, Isabella allows the kids to stay outside and stretch and talk amongst themselves and run around and so forth. Even Isabel's sisters run around, the twins. They always say that, there's your sister. There's your sister, which reminds me when I was younger, being a big brother and everything. You go to your younger brother's lunchroom and so forth, and all your younger brother's friends, and there's your big brother and stuff like that. I've been through that. And Isabella is very, very popular, so she goes through that a lot. Isabella goes through like other youngsters, youngins, pointing to her. Give me a second here. They say Pandora. Pandora, there's your sister Isabella. My, she has white, rich hair. Red as a, then they say, Palon, your sister hair is red as an apple. Isabella had really, really bright hair. And the younger kids marvel at how red her hair is. Red rose. Or just red as a cherry tree. A cherry, like just bright red, and when the sun hits it, it shines. Pandora just smiled, being the younger sister Isabella. She just smiled and said, "Yeah." Then he said, "I heard she plays a magnificent harp. Maybe we should come and listen to her. Perhaps," she said, "perhaps she shall. Maybe we'll discuss it someday. Maybe we shall." But right now we have to get ready for lessons being taught by Isabella. Pandora and Palon has a very interesting way of talking. They finish each other's sentences in a way that's just so adorable to listen to. They have dark brown as red as their hair is rusted, and they're not really twins, not identical twins, but you can see that they're sisters. They're Isabella's younger sisters. Perhaps we shall come over and listen to your sister play the harp. She said, oh, that will be grand. I'll let you know. She said, when the time is suitable, then she says, then it's settled. Yeah, that's what she says. She says, then it's settled. That means there's nothing else to talk about. There's nothing else to talk about. There's nothing else to talk about. It's nothing else to talk. She's then settled. At that, Isabella comes outside and rings this kind of chime for all the children to come in, because now it's time for teaching. It's time for school. And I guess we'll leave off right there. This should be something to see how we starting off Isabelle's diary very slow. But it's a very, very amazing fable. It's a very amazing fable. So we'll leave off right there at Isabella standing strong. Which is suitable. Because she did stand strong next to Hannah. Hannah thought they was at the forbidden camp. It's not even the forbidden nothing. It's not even a forbidden nothing. It's the mystic catacombs, for Christ's sake. And yet she felt as though she had to justify herself in front of Hannah, which is ridiculous. It's just fucking ridiculous. It's just fucking ridiculous. But women know that when they was younger, you meet some girl who's just nosy, and you just want to just pop outside her damn head, and that's what kind of girl she was. So Isabella standing strong is done, and we're going to continue on our next chapter of Isabelle's diary. And I want to thank you guys for being here for another chapter of Isabelle's diary. Can't wait to see what happens and how this unravels and all the mysteries and secrets that we find out. So I want y'all to join us next time for another chapter. And thanks for stopping by. And remember, imagination is a good thing. It always was, and it always will be. And we'll be talking to you guys later. And have a nice evening. See ya.